everyone, it's Liz and I'm back after a hiatus. Sometimes you need a hiatus, but I'm back. I have tons of content to put out for you in the coming days. I'm going to at least try to put out something every week for you, but I wanted to read a story about, a life well lived. I had my Sergeant Dennis Snay I deployed with for the Afghanistan retrograde in 2021. We were in Kuwait and some of our team was in Qatar. We were waiting on the State Department to decide what we're going to do with this Afghanistan retrograde, which is our version of what we militarily call, a removal from theater of war, if you will. I'd like to read to you what I wrote for him. I'm doing his retirement on November 18th. He served for 24 years. This is an example of a life well lived, and what I mean by that is daily right action, which leads to good outcomes. There are a lot of types of different ethics out there. I'm not going to go into different ethic theories right now, but there's one that's not often talked about in Western ethical philosophy, which is this sense of just do right action. It's about your daily process. It's about what you do every day. It's about your character. It's about what you do when no one's looking. So here we go. Here's the letter. Ma'am, I'd like to show you what we've done up here in Camp Buehring. I was on the phone with my NCO, Sergeant Dennis Snay. I was in Camp Arifjan, Kuwait, over 2 hours away. I worked operations and occasionally as the command chaplain over the U.S. Army operations in Kuwait. We deployed to support the Afghanistan retrograde in 2021. Ma'am, we've set up Freedom Village for the Afghanis, and we're ready to receive and support. We've got food and supplies for them. We've even got fun things for the kids. Someone sent over lots of soccer balls. I sent Sergeant Snay to Camp Buehring, Kuwait to support the unit ministry teams there as they set up 40 huge tents, replete with beds, shower and laundry trailers, mess tents, and prayer tents. Speaking of prayer tents, Sergeant Snay wisely calculated the correct worship space required for both the male and the female and child prayer tents, since they worshiped separately. We also had a concern for the safety of women and children living in open bays in the large tents separated by fabric and curtains. So Sergeant Snay saw to it, providing gorilla boxes with locks and secure tent dividers. Sergeant Snay is a strong and loving man. When he noticed some male Afghanis trying to board planes to the States without their families, he made sure they were removed from the plane until their families were processed for travel as well. Camp Buehring processed over 100,000 Afghanis in a few weeks, from 20 August to 20 September of 21. Sergeant Snay was at Freedom Village daily at Camp Buehring, which is on the Iraqi border, supporting families, providing needed supplies, and noting when medical attention was required for a resident. We had some exciting medical events, such as precipitous baby deliveries on Black Hawks or C-130s. Snay was checking in daily at the village, making sure the medics knew the women needed labor and delivery care. There were issues with political radicalization in the village, as well as black market sales and theft. Sergeant Snay set a schedule for military police and other NCOs and chaplains, such as myself, to walk the village and monitor the area. I brought Sergeant Snay back to my location at Camp Arifjan afterwards, since we then lovingly supported the U.S. Army returning from the airport and the Marines who lost 12 Marines and a Navy corpsman in the bombing at Kabul airport. We both were heartfelt about providing them with phones and phone cards, supplies, housing, religious services, good food, and counseling. Many of the military members had created trench art, which in this case were crafts created from sticks and rocks at the airport. These were rough-hewn axes and other pieces of art, and we were able to get these items sent home legally for them. Sergeant Dennis Snay was awarded a humanitarian award, an Armed Services Medal, and an Army Commendation Medal, and 2 other awards for his service for our entire challenging tour in Kuwait from January to November of 21, and especially for his support at Camp Buehring for the preparation and support of the Afghanistan retrograde. This was an impactful time for all of us. Chaplain Lieutenant Colonel Elizabeth LeClaire, retired. I wanted to just read this for you because this is an example of a life well lived, and we can all live our particular lives on our particular mission, doing our dailies, doing our daily good work, whether it's clean eating, whether it's fitness, whether it's working on our sleep hygiene, whether it's treating our people well, treating ourselves well, moving toward our goals, and doing our daily things to improve every day. So I thank you for listening, and let me know in the comments what you think. Thank you, Sergeant Snay, for all your support. in Kuwait.